How you going, guys? How you going, guys? So let's get into breeding. Let's have a chat about breeding. When do I think it'll open? I think it'll open before the next drop. This is my theory. I think that it's going to obviously fix a lot more problems with getting horses in stables than just dropping 7,000 horses. We need more than that, and I think that we'll be able to breed a heap of horses, and I think we'll be breeding heaps once the breed bums open for a day or two. I think also from feedback, the team will probably need to figure out a new drop strategy after what happened on the last one. So that could take some time to do some, what's the word I'm thinking of? Whiteboarding of how to do that, but also implementation as well. So we're going to be talking specifically about breeding today. I think it'll probably be happening in the next week or two. Do I breed horses with good odds in the same distance or different distances? I've done both. I've focused on a range of things. And I guess what I also would be interested in focusing on is whether odds or, I guess, performance make more of a difference in the breeding barn. The odds are, I guess, a view into the underlying attributes of a horse, whereas the performance, in my opinion, is a true indication of where that horse is right now. And as we know from breeding, when you breed the horse, it actually takes a snapshot in time of that horse's races today. That's something that I picked up from a Discord going back nearly a year. I don't know if that's a snapshot in time in terms of performance, i.e. win rate, place rate, or if it's Zed Gazette has put out there that it could be linked to how much ETH it's won as well. Rod, one of the legends from the team, was very, very adamant of saying it's important when you breed your horse. Now, I'm reading into that, and I'm reading that is impacted because of that. Look, this is just a theory. Everything that's said here is theories based off my personal experience and what I look for. Take it with a grain of salt. I don't know how the algorithm works. I don't know if we will ever know how the algorithm works. Mostly be due to the randomness that has to be in the code. Yeah, just remember that when we're looking at this. To sort of take it back a step and give you a sort of brief overview of how I see breeding and how I see it work, and then we can jump into some more of these questions. What happens when you breed a horse is that you have, your male, your female horses, and if you read into the algorithm that is sort of based around color, I think that you can sort of get an insight into let's bring that up. What the Zed team were focusing on at the time of breeding. And there's obviously an element of chance that's involved. So you can read along. This is an old post, but I think it's still quite relevant. There's still some information in here, but you have these color percentages or chances that are associated with breeding. And if you unpack them, I think that you can actually get a view into what the Zed team was thinking at the time of breeding. And personally, what I think is that there's a similar flow of chance when it comes to breeding in terms of race ability. And what I mean by that is, I don't know if there's a theory out there again that the dam or the mum has a higher weight associated to attribute than the sire, which is the father. And that's then you have a percentage of attributes taken in from each one, which then feeds into the offspring. And then you have a percentage of randomness probably coming from the sort of just, random attribute that's bred into it. And what I foresee happening is that those percentages actually ebb and flow. They go up and down into what it looks like, or they may go up and down like this. They may sort of do that. But why I think we see these random horses that are bred that don't make sense is potentially this happening. Let's say, for example, you have two really bad performing horses in the current algorithm. And what could potentially be happening is you bred these two horses together, but instead of the breeding algorithm, let's say that I'm going to try. So this is 100%, 0%, and 50%. What could potentially be happening here is that it's actually taking this from the parents, and then this part is a random attribute generator, just like what we have in the Genesis horses. And so it doesn't for some of these horses, for these ones that are taking no attributes from the parents, it doesn't actually matter what the parents are because it's getting 90% new attributes. Now, they're obviously bred into the offspring. And in my opinion, that bred offspring then does bring in new attributes into that genetic line. That's sort of a quick overview. There's been a heap of questions that have just come through. You know, the Genesis horses, in my opinion, hold the key to breeding, and that's why people want them. They're not going to be the best racers moving forward in the platform. I don't know how long that's going to be, but we will get to an ecosystem where bred horses are out racing Genesis horses on a regular basis, where it's kind of flipped at the moment. But the only way for this game to actually progress and to be an ecosystem 50 years into the future is for that to happen. Otherwise, we're playing a game that the game's already won. There's no point having a game or an ecosystem, whatever you want to call it, an industry where Ducky Malin, your Baroques, let's throw Dank in there just to keep Zook happy, of the world are the best horses forever. The game's already over. So breeding is 100% one of the most important. Well, let's take this. It's the most important element to Zed in regards to actually how to continue to evolve with the platform. But in my opinion, racing is still and always will be the most important aspect of Zed, because the only purpose of breeding on this platform versus another platform is to race your horses and to find the best horses. Let's bring up my handy dandy screen. So essentially what happens is you put your stallion into the stud farm. Oh, what have I done? That was the wrong screen. So stallions go into the stud farm, and they go in for 1 day, 3 days, or 7 days. And then essentially these are the percentages that come back to the stud owner, the percentages that go to the prize pool, and then the percentages that go to essentially Zed Run as a company. I'm assuming that is. They've got investors on now. They're doing things. They need to start paying back investors. And so these are potentially ways of this happening. So you've got 3 different elements of where that fee goes. The longer you keep it in there, the higher reward you as the stud owner will receive. And the shorter, then you obviously get a smaller reward. But if your horse is in stud, so the male horse is in stud, you cannot race your racehorse. It's essentially not allowed to race. So that's the downside of putting it in for 7 days. Now, the other element to this is if you own the stud and you want to breed it with your own mares, you essentially get a 35% discount on breeding your horses together. You end up paying 65% of the stud fee as opposed to 60 if you were to use someone else's. Yes, all 7 studs can be used up in 1 day. So if you're looking to put a horse in there and take all 7 studs yourself, you whack it in for a day, take all of the 7 studs, and then that horse is back in your stable racing in about 6 days. No. So if you put your horse in there for 7 days and it produces 7 offspring, say in 5 minutes or in a minute in some cases, like I have, the stud stays in the stud farm for the whole week and you cannot race that horse for the whole week. And that's the pro-con that you need to weigh up of whether the breeding commission is more valuable to you or racing your horse is more valuable to you in terms of returns. So this is breed sniping. You can't insure it. And breed sniping isn't necessarily something that people do on purpose as well. I have sniped breeds from people before completely by accident. I've had breeds taken from me or sniped from me from other people. But as a breed snipe is essentially when you put your horse in and you plan on taking all 7 horses out of the all 7 offspring out of the stud, and someone takes one. I think it's a great part of the game. I think it's a fair part of the game. If we want to talk about provably fair and all these other things, it's an opportunity for other people to get bloodlines that they may never have an opportunity to get For example, Josh from Twitter Spaces, Josh, he might be in the chat. He sniped my I'm a Ducky on the Edge, which is an offspring from Ducky Melon and Breathless Edge. Now, there is no fee that you can pay me that will let you breed with that horse. The only way you're going to be able to ever do it is to get a breed snipe like that. I don't know if private breeding will ever be a thing. I'm against it. I have been from day dot. And it's something that would be more beneficial financially to myself to have private breeding. But I am definitely on the anti-private breeding bandwagon. I don't think it's fair on the network. I don't think it's fair on the platform. There needs to be benefits and what's the opposite of benefits? Non-benefits. I don't know. there needs to be pros and cons to having a stallion and a mare. And in my opinion, the biggest con to having a stallion is that you cannot control who the horse is bred with to a degree of what happens in real life. When you have a stallion in real life, to a degree, it is sort of open season when it comes to breeding. Let's just be honest about that. They sort of take whatever they can get. Some of them obviously do look to try and specifically breed with specific horses, but there is that element there. And then on the other side, the massive pro for me of having a mare, which is what I focus on, is that I can control the breeding 100%. There's no ifs or buts. I can control exactly who that mare breeds with, which makes them more valuable, in my opinion. Best strategy for a filly, just to find the best stud possible in the stud farm. Let's go back to simplicity. Absolutely. Yeah, I don't think you can go wrong by doing this. Sure, test some other theories and do some other things. But let's go back to your best possible chances of creating a good horse or a good offspring. If you just focus on that and keep it simple, absolutely. Yeah. Just find the best stud there is. I love this question. Tier 1, brother. Yeah. We got some tier 1 donkeys out there. That is epic. Well done. Well done. Donkeys to the moon. When and if I get my racetrack, brother, I am a big fan of donkey races. Big fan of donkey races. And getting some money back into these donkeys. Let's do a stakes race for some donkeys. I can't wait. Hopefully I do get a racetrack, because that's going to be the best way for me to give back to my community. Holding stakes races for you guys, all the support and love that everyone's showing me and help me and my stable grow. That's going to be epic for me to give back. Let's throw a donkey race once every week, and throw a couple of $100 at a stakes race for everyone, and we'll stream it and have some fun. That's what I'm focusing on out of Zed. And I've got a couple of donkeys to throw in there myself. Donkey racing for pinks. I love that. Yes. Who's going to have the biggest donkey stable? All right. I've got to jump off. I really appreciate Zook support, everyone's support. If I missed that you subscribe to the channel, I will continue to say this on all my streams. I do apologize. I do appreciate it, but it is not a focus of mine. I just want to get you guys as much content as possible, so to help you grow and learn the platform as quick as possible. But it does mean a lot to me. So thank you very much. Peace out, everyone. I'll see you on the track. Thanks a lot for stopping in. I'll speak to you guys over the next couple of days.